broadcasting live from the beautiful Legacy Theater in Alpharetta, Georgia for CodeLaunch Atlanta 2021. It's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Now, here's your hosts.
And we are broadcasting live from CodeLaunch Atlanta 2021. Lee, what a great way to kick this thing off. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast Jason Taylor and Raheel Malik. How are you?
We're excellent. We're excited to get this thing going in about an hour.
CodeLaunch Day.
CodeLaunch Day. So tell us a little bit about the history of CodeLaunch. What was kind of the catalyst for the idea?
Well, the catalyst for the idea was I was running a software development consultancy in North Texas, and we discovered that in our startup ecosystem, there were a whole bunch of really great startup founders whose progress had kind of come to a halt because of the technology development part is expensive and difficult to do right. And we discovered that talented software developers can jump in a startup's product and fix problems, add features, add polish, and elevate that product timeline and accelerate the startup toward MVP and toward funding.
So then you had that concept. You were like, hey, there's definitely a need for an ecosystem that's more symbiotic, that everybody's helping each other, that if one person fails, they have a place to jump off to. And then how did the actual event of CodeLaunch, once you know that, how did you say, okay, CodeLaunch is the solution to this?
Well, we start with a 6-week curation process. And it's kind of a part us deciding who we like, and then also part us educating some of the more inexperienced applicants that are in our group. And so we're trying to sort those out, and who is really a startup that we believe in and a team that we believe in, and is their product something that we can rapidly improve? Because our professionals engage with them for 2 full days, 12 hours a day, back to back. But it's only so much you can accomplish in 24 hours. And so once we find those groups, we realized these groups need attention. Now that we have accelerated their product, we need to bring the VC and angel community and the whole startup community in to see how much further they are and how much more investable they are. So the event is a showcase, and it also brings all the community players together, and it just adds to the connectivity of it.
Now, when you first did it, did you find that after the event there were kind of these love connections and this ability to partner and collaborate and maybe kind of grow in ways that you didn't anticipate when you kind of had it at the idea stage?
Well, this is the 9th event, and it ran annually for 8 years consecutive in North Texas before we decided to expand it all around the country and come to Atlanta first. And in the first 2 or 3 years, it was an idea that we were trying to get people to believe in and people to come to. And I could honestly answer that question and say, I don't know how much incredible benefit the startups got or the networking was at the first 2 or 3. But we stuck with it, and more people kept coming in that were actually important investors saying, this is really cool what you're doing. How can I help you make this bigger? And how can I help you keep doing it? And around U4, 5, 6, 7, 8, many of the startups went on to raise serious funding after this acceleration process. And so now I would say it's a very powerful networking event, especially in the startup community. And also a lot of our startups go on to achieve really great things.
So now you're getting a lot of attention from investors that say, hey, this is kind of a must-attend event. This is a place where I have to be because they're really cultivating, kind of the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Well, the smart ones. So I really do think that it's going to take time for the real, sophisticated business side of venture capital funding and firms and funds to actually realize how powerful CodeLaunch is. But it's going to happen eventually, and we're going to take this thing all around the country. My motto that I have is that, venture capitals and angels are always looking for something called deal flow. And what that means is just opportunities to talk to startups and consider them. And my motto is tomorrow's deal flow starts at today's CodeLaunch.
There you go.
So now, Raheel, talk about your kind of journey with CodeLaunch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So Jason and I have been friends for quite some time, and I was actually interviewing for a job, and I had the idea to kind of go unconventional with my interview process, and I built a pitch deck on myself as my resume. And I go,
I like it.
And I go, Jason, it's something I want to run by you. Like, obviously, I know who Jason Taylor is, but in this world, he's my friend I drink cold beers with, right? He's not, a business associate or anything. I go, Taylor, I want to show you something I'm thinking about doing on this job interview. He goes, all right. So I show him, and he's captivated. He's like, you made this? I go, yeah. He goes, send me in. I'm going to copy it. I go, awesome, high praise. So you think I should do it? And he goes, yeah, do this in the interview. Now, I didn't get the job, but Jason then approached me and said, you should host CodeLaunch. I said, well, sure, I've never done anything like that before, but let's go, right? And as part of that process, and the responsibility of being the Emcee is being on that curation committee, right? So you hear pitches from people from all different walks of life that are putting it all on the line for the shot to be on this stage.
Yeah.
And it transformed me, right? And I sat back and I looked and I go, these people are doing it. What's my excuse, right? They're putting all their time, effort, energy, blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, and they're sitting here telling me about it, looking for feedback, looking for comments, concerns, trying to dig holes. I go, what's my excuse? And I'm happy to say and very proud to say that my business, First Gen Agency, was launched out of CodeLaunch and being in part of that selection committee, I gave some relatively brutally honest feedback, I guess I should say. And as I was going up to approach this venture in this group to apologize, I was, look, I want to apologize. They said, could we hire you?
Nice.
And that was the beginning, and that's how it started. And I am proud to say that I am 100% a product of this environment. But bigger than that, it's a community, right? And it's a community, and it's a group of people that are all in it for the same reason. Yes, of course, we all want to make millions. We all want to be rich. But what really drives it home for me is we're not alone, right? You sit there as an entrepreneur starting out, you think, oh, I'm crazy. Nobody believes in what I'm doing, right? Like, everybody and their mother is telling you why you shouldn't do this, right? How bad an idea this is. But you're not alone, because everybody on that stage, everybody that applied to CodeLaunch, hopefully all of your listeners have that idea that they've been sitting on. Man, if this thing happens, then I'll do it, right? Or I'm just waiting for this perfect time. But they've been sitting on it for 7, 8, 9, 10 years sometimes. And CodeLaunch is here to connect those people with other like-minded people so that we can all launch together. Like, we're all in this together, and you are not alone. So that was the longest-winded answer possible, but no, I truly believe that, and that's why I flew halfway across the country to be part of this. And thank you to Alpharetta, Atlanta, Georgia, Business RadioX here. Truly, it's been an amazing experience.
Now, any advice for the entrepreneur that is kind of had this on the back burner? What are some kind of pitch?
Do it.
But let's get some pitch advice. What are some things that are kind of do's and don'ts in your mind that's like, okay, they said this, that's a red flag, or I want to see more of that. This is something that's a green light for me.
No, that's honestly the greatest question, and that is what First Gen Agency does is that kind of consulting on the go-to-market strategy. But what we encounter a lot of times is the pitch is about them and their idea as opposed to the problem that they're solving. And people get really close to it and just want to show up and tell you all this whiz bang, all these things. But what I always say is, what's the problem you solve? And take anybody that's ever listening on your pitch, anybody that's ever going to see your slide deck, take them on a journey, right? Show them what it looks like today. Whatever you're trying to solve, this is transferable across all industries. What does it look like today? And then how does your idea dramatically impact that? And taking that viewer who could be a potential customer or client on that same journey with them, right? You have to make it about the audience as opposed to you.
So now, how important in today's world when it comes to getting investors interested is having kind of that first customer or a sale of some size? It doesn't matter, I guess, the size, but just the fact that you sold somebody something. Is that a must-have nowadays, or can you still get funding on a napkin idea?
So I would like to jump in there. I think that for people that have been a part of a successful startup, or they have some fancy pedigree from Stanford, computer science, or Harvard MBA, and they've been through an entrepreneurship program, and those types of people might be investable at the napkin stage, but almost nobody else is, and almost nobody is in that group, and a lot of people at CodeLaunch certainly are not. And so we teach a lean execution model to try to help people to go get either promises to buy or actual sales with surprising little effort or software development, so they can raise money later after that. Because definitely once you do have some customers, that increases your chances of being funded so many multiples. It's not even worth trying to figure out. It's a lot.
So now let's talk about CodeLaunch, specifically the event, day of the event. What goes on at a CodeLaunch event?
Well, CodeLaunch is the finale of a 6-week curation process. And so what's here is startups that we've invited to just have free tables. So we try to just give free elevation to local startups that want to be a part of this. So there's 8 or 10 in the Startup Expo that are not competing. They're just startups. And they're going to get a chance to meet people, watch the finalists, see really good pitches, see products that have been developed, and see what CodeLaunch is about, plus networking and practice their own pitch. And then you're also going to see the 4 finalists who are going to compete on stage, and you're going to see the crowd vote at the end using one of our sponsors' platforms. And then we're going to reveal who the winner is, and the winner is going to get even more services from other companies that support the startup ecosystem.
And that's what the prize is, the grand prize at the end?
Well, the funny thing is, all these startups that are finalists, which there's 4 today, they have already received a 2-day intense product hackathon from a professional agency like Improving or like Build Technology Group or like Code Authority. And so our motto is, by the time you're on stage, you've already won. Everybody's already won who's a finalist at CodeLaunch. We've already accelerated their product far beyond what they ever could have with zero money, right? So one group will win more free services than the others have already gotten. And a trophy. And the trophy's really cool. You'll see.
Now, this is just, you're kind of touring the country right now, starting in Atlanta. What are the other markets that you're going to do launch CodeLaunch in?
Well, we're definitely going to Houston. It's not announced on the date yet, but it'll be our next city after our traditional stop in Dallas-Fort Worth in November.
Which is number 10, by the way.
Yeah, so the 10th ever CodeLaunch will be November 17th in Dallas-Fort Worth.
All right.
Applications are actually open for that right now, so you can a startup can apply for free because we don't charge startups any money to apply, and we don't take any equity, and that's what's really different. CodeLaunch doesn't take money from the startups or take equity, and we build their software for free. Okay?
Well, and not only that, since we've been sitting here, I've seen you hand out at least a dozen drink tickets. So, I mean, I think everybody wins if they show up.
Well, look, again, to Jason's point, like I'm
Except the bartender.
Yeah, that. Well, I'm a volunteer here, right? And I'm here because I believe in it. And the same thing we shared with the finalists that are on stage that, come here and realize that it's a real stage production, right? Mm-hmm. We are doing this right, and you're going to be on stage. Is that they've already won, right? They've already won because we've helped them accelerate their product, and they've already won by being here. Now it's about having fun and raising the awareness, right, of the community that Jason has started to build and that I've piggybacked and am a wholehearted believer in. And it goes back to the simple fact that you're not alone, right? And we, the days of, in my opinion, humbly, but the days of Gordon Gekko and crushing my enemies and stomping on the competition so that I rise to the top. I'll be honest with you, that's not the way I want to do business. I'd rather have friends than enemies, right? And people I can lean on because we're all stakeholders, right? We all got a skin in the game here. If I help you get more listeners or entice some of your audience, you're going to talk better about CodeLaunch and everybody wins.
Amen.
Right?
Amen. Okay, you got to tell me though, what does an Emcee do? What are your responsibilities? Well, you got like a handful of jokes. You're going to be like Billy Crystal at the Oscars?
I mean, I guess you'll have to come to CodeLaunch and find out, right? Outside of keeping this thing rolling and keeping the energy and excitement up, it's just, in my mind, as an ambassador, right, as a true believer, as it were, right, into what this is and what it entails and how it can help. And if I can get a platform to do that and talk about the amazing things that this is, like, until he fires me or finds somebody's better, I'm going to run with it, right?
You seem like the right guy to do it, though. Jason, I think you got the right guy for the job.
Well, the truth is, I always wanted there to be an MC at the event because I need more people to get involved with it, come to it and see. So I could have done the MC the first 5 or 6 years, but I got someone every year because I wanted someone new to come. And I'm like, oh, this person is impressive to me. Would you like to be the MC? Well, I kept finding people that weren't very good at being the MC. And then I bumped into Raheel, and the more I hung out with him and the more I kind of saw his passion, I realized he had the right personality and the right affinity with the startup ecosystem.
Thank you.
And would be a really good one. So, I was like, hey, you want to do it? And no one's ever charged me money, but also no one's ever been paid to be the MC. So it's a love of labor, passion. And he did such a good job at the last one that we were like, boom, you're the MC all year next year. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, it's wild, guys, but we encourage you, come to CodeLaunch, come into a city near you, right? And if you can make it to Dallas, and then applications are open worldwide, right? So, if you wanted to apply to Dallas, I encourage everyone listening to apply with their idea. All you need is a pitch deck and maybe some mock-ups or wireframes. If you don't have a prototype, that's okay. You don't have customers, that's okay. Let's see it. Put yourself out there, put yourself in the universe, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to see that deck. Hey, maybe that wasn't for us, but we know somebody, right? We know somebody you should talk to. And that's what it's about. I mean, I've seen this man turn down CodeLaunch applicants for a million different reasons. And then 5 minutes later, send a follow-up email to a contact or somebody who's a hitter and be like, hey, they weren't for me, but you need to meet these people.
So now, if somebody wants to apply, you said that you can apply right now.
Absolutely.
At CodeLaunch.com.
So CodeLaunch.com.
CodeLaunch.com.
That's it.
And then what do you need more of right now? Do you need more entrepreneurs? Do you need more investors? Do you need more sponsors? What is it that you need to keep CodeLaunch going and thriving and helping more folks?
Sponsors, investors, and startups.
So yes,
Nailed it.
yes, exactly.
All of those.
Yes, exactly.
And we're gonna, like you asked a minute ago, what markets are we taking this to? So CodeLaunch is an improving event. Improving is our parent company, and Improving has a consultant practice in 10 or 11 North American cities. Atlanta is one of the biggest. And Dallas-Fort Worth is another big one. And Houston is another big one. So what we're doing is taking it to our markets first. We have a Chicago market.
Can't wait for that one. That's where I'm from.
Cleveland, Columbus, Calgary, Canada, Mexico, Austin, Omaha, Twin Cities. And we're acquiring we're venture-backed, VC-backed, and we have, private equity-backed. And we have expansion plans based on M&A. So as we acquire in a new market, we will roll CodeLaunch in there to establish what we're about and also try to help that startup ecosystem in that community.
Well, we're excited to participate. We have studios in a lot of those places that you're going to be in, so we hope to follow the story and keep telling your story.
Well, thanks. We hope that it's a very successful rollout. And hey, if you're listening right now, you can still get out here to the Legacy Theater at the FaZe Event Center in Alpharetta.
That's absolutely right.
As you walk in, someone will say, hey, do you have a ticket? And you just scan in with promo code JWT-VIP. My name is Jason W. Taylor, so you're my VIP guest. It will cost you nothing, and you'll get to see what CodeLaunch is all about. Show doesn't start till 5:45.
Got time. Get in the car.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you both for what you're doing. Thank you for making the time to visit with us. We're going to continue to follow this story, of course, this evening, but as this thing unfolds across the country, you guys are doing, as my father would say, the Lord's work.
Bravo. Well, we should be so lucky. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. We will be back in a few from Code Launch Atlanta 2021.
Thank you.